Now let's say that we want the bars to be not simply a count of how many there are, but some other summarized value. Like, see here in the first chart, we simply counted how many properties are not adjacent to Charles River and how many are adjacent. Okay. Now instead, suppose if you want the bars, the height of the bar to be, okay, it's still grouped, not adjacent and adjacent, but the height to be something else, some other statistic, like what is the average value of all the properties not adjacent, average total value, okay, and what is the average total value for the adjacent ones. So instead of count, now you want to plot a summarized statistic from a different target value, right? So group the values by the factor variable Chas, and then find the desired statistic. In this case, we want the mean of the quantitative variable MED-V for each group, and then you plot this calculated value. And for that, okay, here there are the code used here sometimes is kind of opaque. This is what we need to use for the bars to be not frequency but some calculated value, which is stat equal to identity. What that means, I don't know, but that's what we have to use. Okay. So here we have to first prepare data. We have to first find the statistic, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to find the data and then save it here, and then we will do the plotting. Okay, so first is we're going to group the data by Chas, the data frame, and then find the statistic. Okay, and for that there is the command, the function group by. Okay, now group by, you give the name of the data, okay, that needs to be grouped, which is we want to group the data frame housing.df. That's what we want to group. And what do we want to group it by? We want to group it by Chas. Okay. Now if you run this code, it's going to group the data and save it here. Okay. But that's not what we will be able to plot, because what it's going to do is it's going to sort all the rows with Chas equal to 0 and then Chas equal to 1. It's going to be the entire data set, all grouped by Chas. Okay. But that's not what we want to plot. What we want to plot is, once you grouped it, you want to find the mean, the average MED-V for that one group, and then the average MED-V for the other group, and that's what we want to plot. So we want to take this grouped data set and then feed it to another step in the code. Okay. Usually we're going to use what is called pipe operator. Okay. Without pipe operator, you have to save this in a temporary variable, and then use the temporary variable to do further calculations, and then save that into another temporary variable. So we're going to avoid all those temporary variables by using what is called pipe operator. Pipe operator is part of one of the packages that comes with tidyverse. So if you don't run the library tidyverse, the pipe operator will not work. So for you to be able to use the pipe operator, you have to have tidyverse invoked. Yes?
Do you have to install it every time, or does it stay anyway?
Say what?
Do we have to install tidyverse every time, or does it stay in there the same way?
If you want the pipe operator, yes. And I would say that for our class, you by default run tidyverse, because we will be using tidyverse quite frequently. Okay? So there are a couple of libraries that we will be using. There is another one which I'll be introducing a little later called Caret. So tidyverse and Caret are the ones that we will use, and then we will use the other libraries as well. But these two we'll be using quite often. Okay, so what is the pipe operator? So the pipe operator is, it looks like this, percentage sign, and then a greater than sign and another percentage sign. Okay, so what this is going to do is it's going to, whatever is created by this part of the code, okay, and feed it into this, whatever comes after that. So you don't have to save this intermediate step anywhere. Okay, so it makes it convenient for us. So it's going to take the grouped data, okay, and this operator is going to feed it into whatever we're going to say now. So what do we do with that grouped data? We do summarize. Okay, summarize. Okay, so what do we want? What kind of summary do we want? So the summary we want is mean of MED-V. Okay. Now actually, you don't have to even save this here. Okay, you can feed this. You can use another pipe operator and feed it into the ggplot. Okay, but sometimes too many pipe operator makes the code really complex and hard to understand. So it's better to be very careful when you use the pipe operator. So now what this is going to do is, after this, this is the end of the code. So whatever the result is at that point will get saved to data to plot. Okay, so now run the code. So here is data to plot, and if you look at it, so it's grouped and it gives you the mean of MED-V. Okay. Now we can change the name of the, so you can say names data to plot. So this will change the name to something easier to use instead of all those parentheses and everything.